Let's get ready to rock and roll! Greetings, fellow Facebookites. Today is Tuesday, March the 19th of 2013. And you'll have to pardon me if I don't sound very happy. Well, there's a reason why. If there's one thing I cannot stand, it's a bully. Here's the case in point. And you know, this kind of bullying could be any forms. You know, here's a case in point. I'm sure some of y'all have heard this by now, but over in Steubenville, Ohio, two teenage boys have been found guilty for raping another teen. But here's where the bullying really comes in. Okay, in fact, I'm going to read you this story. The victim in the high-profile Steubenville rape case has apparently been receiving death threats through social media. Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine announced that the two girls who were sending the threats have been arrested for the alleged cyberbullying and will face charges of harassment, according to the Jefferson County News. And this is his words. This is what he said. "Let me be clear. Threatening a teenage rape victim will not be tolerated. If anyone makes a threat verbally or via the internet, we will take it seriously. We will find you and we will arrest you." The teenagers arrested were 15 and 16 years old, with one apparently related to one of the convicted rapists. Both will face charges of misdemeanor for aggravated menacing for threatening the victim, with one of them threatening her with bodily harm using Twitter and Facebook. In a tweet to the victim, police say that one of the teens, reportedly named Tashima Harris, wrote, get this, "You ripped my family apart. You made my cousin cry. So when I see you, bitch, it's going to be a homicide." Can you believe that? One teen turned herself in and apologized for the tweet before her account was deleted, while the other was arrested. This comes a day after the Jefferson Juvenile Court found the two high school footballers, Trent Mays and Malik Richmond, guilty of raping the girl at a party and taking pictures on August 2012. The case has made the small Ohio town a national issue, as the court and law enforcement have used social media to bring together clues on what happened on the night of the rape. The jury used photos and videos found online to create a picture of the dreadful night. You know, let me tell you people something. I'm sure I don't need to. I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say this. Bullying is bullying is bullying. You know, I know what it's like to get pushed around. Fortunately, some of the people who did that in my life, some people have apologized. I'm not going to tell you who. But then there are some others who I hadn't seen, like, since my days at Evans Junior High School back in Lubbock, Texas. Or, for that matter, later on, Coronado High School in Lubbock. Yeah, some of these people I'd be better off never seeing again. I can tell you one thing I found out about one of those people, and this didn't surprise me. I found out that he got himself into a life of crime and drugs and all that crap. In fact, I discovered an article from LubbockOnline.com. This was in their archives, you know, on because you see, I googled this guy's name. I found out that in the fall of 2000, September 2000, you know, as a matter of fact, actually, I'll tell you what, if you'll hold on just a minute, I'm going to pull up this article. I'm going to go to that website, LubbockOnline.com. I'll tell you what, you know, it didn't surprise me because he had already gotten And he's the kind of guy who got into trouble at school a lot, you know, and all that jazz. Anyway, I don't know if I should say this guy's name, you know, but so I'll tell you, I'll call him. Of course, if some of you fellow Facebook guys who are friends of mine from high school wonder who I'm talking about, you can always ask me, you know, and I can message you and tell you. Okay, check this out. This was published on Thursday, October the 19th of 2000. A Lubbock County man accused of using, get this, of using a 15-month-old child to shield himself against a police SWAT team was indicted Wednesday on a kidnapping charge. This guy, who was 31, barricaded himself and his girlfriend's baby inside his home in the 1700 block of 98th Street when a police officer tried to serve an arrest warrant on September the 7th. Because of concerns for the baby's welfare, police supervisors called for the SWAT team. This guy, see, I'm using the words this guy instead of using his name. Anyway, this guy and the baby remained locked inside the house for about 6 hours. The absence of a telephone inside the house hampered communication between this guy and police negotiators. About 4 p.m., SWAT officers stormed into the house. This guy had fashioned an escape hatch and slipped with the baby into a crawl space underneath the mobile home. Officers started pulling away siding around the house to reach him. This guy crawled back and forth under the house with the baby tucked under his arm. He eventually dropped the girl, who was snatched up by a police officer. This guy crawled around the house for another minute before officers dragged him out. Last month, this guy was indicted on burglary charges. One of the charges prompted the arrest warrant police attempted to serve before the standoff. Yeah, this guy, see, he always, you know, messed with me, you know, called me names, and I remember when we had the same intro biology class, when he'd come by my desk and he'd give me the finger, you know, in my face. You know, he even took the pen I was using and broke it in two, you know. I'll tell you what, you know. Yeah, he was a punk. That's all I gotta say about him. But I'll tell you what. Yeah, I can't. And I'd be watching all these talk shows, you know, about cyberbullying and all that garbage, you know. And you know what really angers the crap out of me when it comes to bullying in general? The parents of these bullies having this attitude. Well, kids will be kids. I'm sorry, but that's a lame excuse. You know, granted, kids may be kids, but parents still need to teach their kids, you know, that bullying is wrong. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe some of these parents who have that kind of attitude, they might have been bullies themselves. You know, but I'll tell you what, that's something I cannot stand. You know, and I remember one time I was hearing a story about, you know, these two teenage girls who were bullying this other teenage girl to the point where she wound up committing suicide. And this is what really gets me. At this funeral, you know, when people were walking by her open casket, turns out those two girls were there, and they walked by her funeral. And as they were walking the way, they were giggling and all that stuff. Excuse me. If you're going to show up at someone's funeral, you show them respect. Otherwise, you don't show up at a funeral at all. You know, it's like these girls were still bullying that girl even though she was already dead. How despicable can one get? I wonder what the parents of those bullies thought about that. You know, just angers the crap out of me. And you know, people who show blatant, deliberate, you know, disregard, or they have no respect for other people. They're going to disrespect them one way or another. And your bullies are no bullies. I remember I'd be watching one of those courtroom riot shows, like on what was then Court TV and all that stuff. It's like there'd be two sides: the family of the murder victim and the family of the suspect. And one of the suspect's relatives told the other side, "Hey, that guy was an old man. You think he was going to live forever?" You're going to say something like that? If you are so asking for trouble. You know, it doesn't matter if the suspect was a relative of yours. You don't do that to the murder victim's family. Period. Because if you are, it's like you're murdering, it's like you might as well be murdering them too. You know, I wonder how would that lady like if someone talked that way about one of her relatives? You know, makes me angry. What more can I say? You know, the fact that I was pushed around and all that stuff, thank God I have never, ever thought about doing that. I'm way too smart for that. But you know, unfortunately, you know, some bullying victims aren't like that. They don't know how else to stop it. It's like their self-esteem is being shot down. You know. Well, at least that one guy that I just read that article about, I can tell you he's currently getting his. And as a matter of fact, besides looking up that article, you know, and I would see his mugshot in that article, and I'd look at him and go, huh, that's him all right. I took it a step further. I would go to the website for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Sure enough, he's currently doing some hard time. You know, he chose to be a dimwit. And for that, he's paying the price. Oh, you know, I can think of another example. Something else I just heard. This is also in Ohio, but not in Steubenville. You know, I just found out about this teen, you know, shot and killed 3 other teens. And you know, he didn't, you know, he was, I think the article said he pled guilty, but at his sentencing, you know, that guy showed blatant disrespect for the families of these victims he murdered. In fact, he cursed at them and gave him the finger. Oh. Well, that's the thing. He obviously didn't seem to care. You know, even though the judge would sentence him to, I think he's getting 3 consecutive life terms. But, oh, sometimes you can't help but wonder what makes these people do stuff like that. For all I know, there could be 10 gazillion reasons. You know, it sickens me. You know, the point is, if there's anyone out there who still thinks they have that mentality, well, kids will be kids. I got a message for you if that's what you're thinking. Get a clue. Seriously. You know, and if there's any parents out there who have kids out there, you know, you need to teach your kids that bullying is wrong. You know, don't just sit there. If your kid's being a bully at bullying people or other people around, don't just sit there and go, well, kids will be kids. That's no excuse. if the point is, bullying is, and some people saying bullying is just part of growing up. Bull. Bullying is not part of growing up. And anyone who tells you differently should have his head examined. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no excuse for it. Well, I don't get really comments about this often, but when I decide to come on, do this little rant here. This is my very first rant since I've started this show. If there's any of you fellow Facebookites or fellow YouTubeites who have a comment, you're welcome to share it with me. So what more can I say? I can't stand bullies. Never have, never will, and surely there's a lot of you people out there who feel the same way that I do. So what more can I say? Until next time, let's get ready to rock and roll! Crisscross applesauce out. See you later.